Hey, thank you for tuning in to Big Eric Time. Today, what we are doing is making a custom skid plate for this truck just because mine keeps ripping. So let me take it off and I'll show you what we're doing. So with the shield down, this is actually what it looks like underneath. This piece right here protects the transmission, and there's our cats right there. So I just want to replace this just because it keeps ripping too much. Just showing you the repairs that I've done. Trying to adding some fabric for just kind of more surface area. Zip tying, and it just seems to keep ripping off. Couple things that we'll be using today. Got our splash shield there. I'm using aluminum diamond plate. Just got lucky. Had this laying around the garage. Some cardboard, so save up from your Amazon deliveries for a week. Using a air grinder, and I got the sander there to make the edges smooth. Used a 5/16 to take this off. I'm going to trace this out of cardboard first to get a template. Use the tape to help do the edges. What I want to do here is I want this to come up just like the factories, but maybe a little bit more for more protection. And then later on we'll add some holes for ventilation. But time to get to tracing. This here was just a quick outline. Basically I lined it up towards the bottom of the cardboard. This is kind of where the bend's lined up, so I drew a little dotted line here. That's my dots. This is going to fold up right here. Same thing with this side. Dotted lines. And this I'm going to count a little extra because I want to bend it up. I believe this is just for a little extra stability. So I have it mocked up. It's hanging right there. I'm going to leave this actually long. I'm going to put a bend right about here. But on the other side, I'll show you. What I did is I cut fingers of cardboard. This is to make it easier to fold and trim. So on the other side, I have those combed up and I marked the bend line. So I'm going to trim that off and then trim these off, and that should give me an almost perfect fit. So here we have the factory skid plate that protects the transmission. I've traced this one over here. Now you can tell I actually folded this in half. Logically, that should work. And looking underneath the truck, I mean the frame looks pretty even. So I just basically folded it. I got my lines traced out for where the bends need to be. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut this, and basically during the oil changes, these have to be removed completely since it's a full steel or full aluminum sheet now versus this one where they'll actually just unbolt those and yank them down. Time to get to cutting. I'm going to be using a cutting wheel right there. Just ran off of air. You could, I believe, use a Sawzall on this just because this is really thin or really light aluminum. So you should be able to cut straight through that. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting, and we'll mock it up and trim as needed. This air grinder, this took about, I'd say, I don't know, maybe about 2 minutes. Got real hot. I mean, it didn't cut through at all. But switch to this guy. This cut right here took 2 seconds. So I'm going to go through with this and we're going to finish this job. So here's the cuts. Just gotta, I cut a little extra off the edge just because it'll be easier to trim once I get in there with that off. That did amazing. Got a little bit more right here. Now if your metal starts jumping around, I don't know why, but let me see if I can focus. This thing kind of developed a little bulge right there. So I'm trying to get to focus. Has like a little bulge. Looks like it, that's kind of what caused the blade to jump around. That's just a little elevated right there. Don't know why I did that. But yeah, once I switched out the blade to a new one, it cut smooth again. So now just to trim it and start mocking it up. Got the rear bolts in. So we got a little bit of space. Just gonna try to trace exactly where that line's at. But this is what it's gonna look like underneath. I'm pretty happy with that look. So once I cut this right here, I'll be able to line it up with where the bolts are right there, drill the holes for the bolts, and then we'll start bending this up last. So that way we can mount it and then we'll trim as we go. Okay, just got done. Not completely finished, still gotta bend these, but it's mounted. It is sturdy. And I'm gonna call it a night. Here's what I ended up doing towards the front. Bent this, made a lip, tucks underneath the other skid plate. Cut sections out for this. These fit now. Pretty much tomorrow. Taking it right here, we're bending it up. So that way it can wrap around over here. It's gonna come up and hug the sway bar. But we're gonna test it out tonight. Just drive around with it. Kind of like the way it looks, being flat. So here I've taken it off. I test fit it, drove it last night. Got them lined up, the holes. So next, what I want to do is I actually want to use the OEM bends. So I'm just going to trace this right here, coming up, I think right here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off just because that's how the factory has it. But just kind of trace this to get my points of where I need to bend it. And I'll do the same for the other side. We'll stick this down against a vice grip and just kind of pry it up. Alright, got it mounted underneath there. Got the bends I want. A little bit of finessing, but that's all built up right there. Let me show you the other side. Should hold up. Next I'm going to take it off and just put in some holes for ventilation. Here's the last step. This is the old splash shield skid plate sitting on top of the new one. I'm going to go ahead and copy the OEM holes. I don't think it really matters, but I just wanted something to trace. So this actually sits pretty good inside of it. I'm going to drill holes here on the edges and then just take the Sawzall and go around and cut out all these holes. So I got the holes traced, drilled the big one, put smaller ones so that way I could turn, just because I had trouble cutting right there. All finished up, test fitted, holes are cut. There's the old, there's the new. I made sure to finish all the sides. There's no rough edges left. Everything's been sanded down. Grinded the outside and then finished it off with the sander. Just ready to go on. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. If you can, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It helps my channel grow. So far, I just want to let you know it's been about 700-800 miles. I went in for an oil change. My new skid plate's still underneath there, and I could actually hear them while they were changing the oil. They did not pull it back and rip it down since they couldn't. They actually took the whole skid plate off, so I feel like that that's really what caused the original skid plate to rip in the first place. So it's good things. So I'm happy with it. If you get a chance, definitely try it. Maybe use a different material too. I just had to have the aluminum diamond plate just sitting in my garage, so kind of got a little bit lucky there. But yeah, thank you for watching, and look forward to my next video, and I should be dropping it soon.